appreciate this opportunity. It was truly a privilege to facilitate this group. We had the pleasure to work with a collection of diverse and talented individuals who were engaged in this process from start to finish. And being granted the freedom to dream what if in terms of student life on this campus was a wonderful opportunity for us and an exciting process. Our task force discussed all of the areas submitted to it for consideration by the committee. We had some initial discussions about institutional size and admission standards, and although I think our group is supportive of targeted growth and expanding our geographic footprint, the committee made an intentional decision to step back from those specific recommendations and focus our efforts on developing a vision of the institution we want to be in terms of student life and services over the next 25 years. In order to do that, we wanted to come to consensus on a vision statement that would guide our efforts. And the committee developed the statement, ETSU will be a premier student-centered university fostering a transformative educational experience that affirms the value and richness of human diversity. There was recognition that we have a diverse mission with multiple priorities. But among those priorities, we want to build a collective culture where there is collective understanding that students are at the center of the institution in terms of the educational experience and in terms of student success. In everything that we do, students are at the center. Over the course of our process, we developed over 125 what-if opportunities that were consolidated into 13 idea clusters and ultimately emerged into 3 broad themes around which we believe we need to focus our efforts over the next 10 to 25 years. And those themes are student success, environments for students, and student engagement. Our goal statement for student success is to become a national model in student programs, services, and outcomes related to student persistence and graduation. That's consistent with our mission, it's consistent with our role in access, it's consistent with the needs of the state and the nation. And we know we're not where we need to be in this area. It is definitely an aspirational goal for us to become a national model. In terms of our objectives for each of the themes, there are numerous objectives, but I'm going to highlight objectives in each area that had significant energy and consensus in the group. The first is to develop an integrated first-year experience program for our undergraduate students that fosters connection and belonging to the institution. We lose approximately 30% of our degree-seeking first-year students from year 1 to year 2. And we have many elements of a first-year experience program in place currently. Folks have been engaged in this effort for a long time. So we're coming late to the game in some ways in terms of a truly integrated first-year experience. But there's also a significant opportunity for us here to develop a program that's second to none, that captures the student from the moment they're considering the university, in pre-enrollment activities after they're admitted, transition experiences linked to academic coursework, as Bill described, and takes them through the first year in a common collective experience that prepares them for success. We want to raise that level of retention, particularly in the first year, because the literature indicates that that's the most significant year for our undergraduate population. Becoming a national leader in addressing college costs and debt by maximizing financial support, financial services, and financial education was our second goal. 80% of our graduates have debt when they leave the institution. That's the highest rate in the TBR and of all the public universities in the state, significantly. They're averaging over $20,000 in debt when they leave. They're working long hours while they're here. Each of us around the table could tell stories of students who are enrolled in the 5th to 6th week of classes without books because they're waiting on financial aid to arrive. So issues of cost and debt are salient for our population. And we need to develop a comprehensive funding strategy that looks at aid very broadly in terms of financial aid, in terms of graduate stipends, in terms of book rental programs, health insurance, and time to degree. All of those issues affect costs. And we have many great initiatives, but the committee felt that there's room for us to take a look at the comprehensive strategy we are using to maximize our funding for issues of cost. We think we need to open up and integrate our financial services. Financial aid is complex and downright mysterious to many students, particularly if they're first generation. We have a significant first generation population on this campus. The degree to which we can open up those services, both our fee payment, our financial services, promote financial literacy for our students, integrate them physically, demystify those services, provide cross-training among our financial services areas. We think that's going to take us forward significantly. And financial literacy is a key component. According to a Jumpstart survey, 75% of college-going students lack basic financial literacy skills in terms of managing their debt, in terms of long-range planning, in terms of credit card management. They're taking on significant debt, and they don't really understand how to finance a college degree. We think if we do this well, that in 10 years we could potentially be a national center for the study of costs and debt in higher education. We have a population that's in need, and if we can bring resources to bear, we think there's significant opportunity in this area. Third, we'd like to provide outstanding and accessible academic support services, academic advising, and career development that enable students to plan, develop, and complete an informed path to major degree and career. We have too many students who are wandering through the curriculum, who are taking too long to make the decision, or who are committing to decisions too early. In concert with what Bill described, we believe we need a developmental advising program in this campus that goes beyond course selection and that works with the students from year one through graduation. We think there's a real opportunity there. The second area we focused on is environments. We focused on enhancing the university's physical and virtual campuses to promote student life and to provide student services that are accessible, seamless, supportive, and affirming of a diverse learning community. In terms of our objectives to meet this goal, on the physical campus, we think we need more and enhanced student space. We are in support of a fine and performing arts center, a significant renovation of the university center. There was discussion in our group that it should be the front porch for our campus in terms of students who are admitted and the living room of our students who are here. It is a mishmash of student space and offices currently, and we need to make that center a vital hub for our institution, and we think we can do that with significant renovations. We are in support of establishing an integrated enrollment services center for students, a one-stop shop that opens up our services on this campus in the enrollment area, provide cross-training for those employees so students can receive more seamless support in the enrollment functions, but also looking at other opportunities to expand financial aid and enrollment integration. There could be opportunities to expand academic integration between the CFAA, our Center for Academic Achievement, and our Academic Advising Center. And then developing virtual campus services as we move forward. Students expect 24/7 access to our services, not only in the enrollment area, but in terms of academic and wellness. We need to set up virtual systems that allow our students to have that access, not only for our online and distant students, but our students who are here. We have a long way to go in that area. And finally, engagement is a key area. We have a reputation as a campus in which students leave on the weekends to a great extent. We need to work to improve the campus level of engagement through the week and on the weekends. And our specific goal is to expand academic, social, and cultural activities on the campus to create the expectation of engagement 7 days a week. That's broader than the student affairs activity. It involves academic affairs. It involves athletics. We need to create that culture of engagement on the campus so students wake up every morning and say, what's next? That's the kind of environment we want to build. We're going to have to use technology in order to do this as well as we move forward over the next 5, 10, 25 years to enhance engagement. We need to use social media platforms, mobile technologies. We need to think about learning communities in terms of virtual learning communities and virtual student organizations. There are many ways to connect students who are on this campus and who are at a distance to each other and the institution. We need to think more broadly in terms of engagement. And finally, the area of diversity was a critical component. Developing a campus culture of acceptance and respect that demonstrates and celebrates the value of diversity. There was a lot of energy about creating a model multicultural center on this campus that is a true hub for the university. We're not talking about just a place of support for students, but a center of dialogue, education, in which our faculty, our students, our alumni engage. And we think that if we're able to move forward in these three areas, that we will be able to realize our vision of becoming a premier student-centered university. And I believe I'm out of time.
What's your retention rate, freshman class?
Say about 70%.
Thanks. We need now. You have invited me to be a member of this committee, which is a mistake, because I'm going to make. You should report directly to president.
I'd just like to compliment you and Sally and the others on your team for what you've had in the last few days, and that's that financial aid symposium or whatever you call it, because the changes that are occurring in financial aid are critical as far as understanding for the incoming students. I have a grandson that's applying here and other places as we speak, and they know where they want to go for the most part, but they don't know how to get there, how they're going to fund it.
Right.
But what in the world that's the FAFSA thing means. So I compliment you on what you're doing there, but please continue to do that. It's going to be more and more important. I can't keep up with the changes myself.
There are some great programs around the country in terms of financial literacy and in terms of financial education. It's complex. Texas Tech has a Red to Black program, and so there are lots of models around the country, and I think it's just an area of need for us, and it changes rapidly, absolutely.
Did your committee discuss moving forward student support for campus events such as athletics, and why there's a disconnect? There's not the excitement of going to a game or going to an event on campus.
Well, we did. Dr. Lee, we want to focus a little bit on that as Director of the Student Organizational Resource Center.
You know, it goes hand in hand with the 24/7 issue of having things happening here all the time. Students have the perception that it's fine to go and leave, that they're not missing anything if they leave right now. And so they go hand in hand. We aren't there yet. If you look at any athletic event where students aren't in attendance, you can think, okay, where are they? Well, they went home this weekend because they've been here the last 3 weekends. Or they, are working. There are lots of reasons, but they don't have that connection to the campus. Like, this is the place I have to be. Like, if I'm not here, I'm missing it. And so
students who are connected through cohort experiences tend to connect to their peers and the institution. And they tend to do better in terms of student success. So I think programs that connect students through the academic experience like the linked course model, a first-year experience program that really sets the expectation for engagement in that first year. Program level supports can help us build a culture, but it's going to take time. And then just working collectively to do that.
Joe, you mentioned that 80% of our students have debt. Do you know what percentage of our students work, and how does that percentage compare with comparable institutions or other institutions?
Significant. Dr. Lee, did you?
Go ahead.
Good enough, take that one away.
I was just going to say that our students tend to not work when they're freshmen as much, and then they add work, and then they get to where they're working too much as juniors, and then they realize, hey, I'm never going to graduate, so they cut back their work as seniors. So it is part of the culture here that it's okay to work. And the research is clear that working 15 to 20 hours a week is positively correlated with success, more so if you can work those hours on campus. But what happens for our students is they get caught in the trap of, ooh, I could have some more money. So they add too many hours, and they add it in that time when we are losing students. So we manage to keep 70% of our students. They're pretty much not working. Then they start working. Then we start losing them in the progression to graduation.
And how does that compare with other places?
Well, I haven't examined that data, but we have significant percentage of our students who are working both in the freshman and senior year. I think on the NESE we were around 40% of our students who are working significant hours, over 20 hours a week. And when you think about trying to complete your senior requirements while you're working 20 hours a week or more, that's a real drain. Yes.
To answer the question about is that comparable to other places, in Tennessee, except for UT, that is a comparable in public universities that we have the work issue. 70% of our students work at the University of Memphis, and 40% are first-generation college students, not unlike your profile. So I do think it happens in the public universities.
And it's also traditionally involved students. We ask for a show of hands in our student government, and probably 2/3 of those students are working significant hours.
And 50% of our students are first generation, the last data we have.
Do you have a sense of debt versus sort of manageable debt? I mean, let's face it, debt is a part of the American experience, but to what extent is this manageable and unmanageable today?
Well, I don't have a specific answer to your question. I think we need to examine that and take a look at it. We have a working class student body, and when you see numbers in excess of $20,000, and most of that debt, I think, comes in the form of loans. Students, that's a challenge for students to manage. And
$5,000 to $10,000 would be a manageable, great investment. $25,000 might be an anchor.
And we have first-generation students who are quick to say, I'm not going to take on this debt. I'm going to stop out and I'm going to work for a year to try to build up my resources. Well, the literature says that when you stop out, you're at much greater risk for ever coming back. So we see that repeatedly too. Yes?
We have time for one question.
You do this and that, and then we'll
We have two questions? Okay, we'll have time for two quick ones then.
Dr. Sherlin.
Yes.
Is there a follow-up program when students leave that, or is there a way that we can institute an office or a person to follow up with the person who leaves ETSU to find out why? Medically, we understand that piece. But there needs to be, if they came to school, they have decent grades, we should find out why that person left, what we can do to get them back on campus, and to, I just think we need to find out why people leave. Because if you get here, you came here for a reason. If you came here for the education piece and something fell apart, we need to find out why, and we need to institute somebody or some process to seek those people. You know, in my business, when a customer leaves, I call and say, you know, what could I have done better?
Right.
What did I do? What did I not do?
Right.
And I think, you know, you can't do that for everybody, but there are some students that we need to reach back and try to get them back on campus.
I agree, and we need better data. Students leave for a range of reasons, some financial, some academic, some social, some family issues, but the degree to which we can get better data and reach out to those students, that we'd be well served.
Part of that could be part of the assessment program.
Right. True. That's good. Really?
I think there was one more question.
Yeah, I
Yes,
was
go
just
ahead.
ask if you've seen an increase in part-time versus full-time, because that can be an indicator of too much.
I don't know. Majority of our students are full-time. I haven't seen any trends in that area.
In graduate school, we've seen a trend in more part-time, but not so much in undergraduate.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Joel.